Alright guys, so we're back for first impressions, and even though I've been collecting fragrances for well over 10 years, I always love it whenever I get the opportunity to try out a new brand and a new fragrance house. And so this fragrance and this first impression we're going to be doing is the first of a few fragrances I got with this most recent haul from the brand Game of Spades. And now Game of Spades is one of these inspired brands that, you know, kind of creates sense based on most of the top niche fragrances out on the market. So the first and foremost one we're going to be doing today is this one here, and this is Game of Spades, and this is Wildcard. Game of Spades Wildcard is a fragrance that many people associate with Bond No. 9's Lafayette Street. Now, I've mostly heard good things about this fragrance, right, and its reviews. There has been a couple of downsides, so we're going to get into the whole breakdown. We're going to get through our blind smell reaction. We're going to test just how much this one compares to Bond No. 9 Lafayette Street. Does it compare? Does it not compare? Is it its own unique scent? And what is the quality? And was this one worth the money that we pulled the trigger on it for? But nonetheless, let's get into it. First thing is the unwrapping. Let's get right into the review. Alright, nice easy unboxing. I do like what they did with the outer boxing, a little bit more on that rugged, that sort of fur feeling with this one. We open it up, there's the bottle right there. Boom, I do like that. I like the presentation, I like the look, really nice, luxurious aesthetic to it. We pulled the bottle out. Okay, we pull the bottle out. Oof. Nice, luxurious looking bottle. I think I got my hands on this one for $60, so bang, there's the fragrance. Really like the presentation to start off with. Alright, so when we look at Game of Spades Wildcard, some of the main notes that we're looking to get is coriander. We're going to get some ambroxan. We're going to get some fruity notes in here. We're going to get that apple as well. And we're going to get some musk in here. So if this one bowl is the same, and if it's what we think it's going to be, are we getting a Bond No. 9 Lafayette Street clone, a $400 fragrance for only $60? Well, let's get right into it. All that's left is for us to test out the smells. So first and foremost thing we have is our initial blind smell reaction. 2, 3, 4. We got 4. Nice solid atomizer. Really soft projection, really soft opening. So this one is not that loud, okay? Not the strongest projector, but as it's settling in the air, get 2 more. You're definitely getting that bergamot, you're getting that coriander. So again, this one is a much softer projecting fragrance off the opening than Bond No. 9 Lafayette Street. You do get a little bit of that Lafayette Street DNA. You do get some of that semblances, but much lighter, much, I don't want to say weaker, but you know, it's not nearly as pungent. Lafayette Street, I have Lafayette Street, and it's one of those, it fills up the room with only maybe 1 or 2 sprays. This one, almost, I almost couldn't smell the fragrance even after 4 sprays. It was really soft projection. I had to spray it again. So that's one of the main differences with this one. Not disappointed though, right? Doesn't smell synthetic. You can get it, but as far as longevity, may not have the best longevity, may not have the best staying power with this one. But as far as how the scent is, once you're able to get a whiff of it, good scent, good DNA. Definitely get picking up on that bergamot, coriander. So getting a nice citrusy floral opening to start it off. Really nice, pungent, you know, bergamot. But as far as projection is much softer than a lot of fragrances I've gotten my hands on. Right, now we got the tester strips, and now let's see if this one changes any characteristics. Maybe it was one of those, it was a fresh bottle, you know, I could tell that it wasn't that easy to spray. So maybe it was just the fact that we just didn't get. And plus, if you look at the atomizer isn't the strongest or the broadest, right? Pretty narrow. But after we spray it on the strip here, off the strip though, you're picking up on that apple, you're picking up on that vanilla, that bergamot, right? And then you're getting a little bit more strength off the mid. So I imagine if this was a fragrance you wore on your clothes, I imagine you probably would get good staying power, good sillage out of it, right? Definitely one that people would be able to smell on you in a very intimate way, right? So it's not going to be the loudest as far as projection. As far as your scent bubble and your sillage, I do think you're definitely going to get, that's where you're going to be, your money is going to be made, that's where your wheelhouse is going to be with this fragrance. So again, as far as the DNA that you're getting, I would say right now we're at about 80% Lafayette Street. Definitely a nice DNA. Definitely I like it. I do like the fragrance. It's not a wasted purchase, you know, for me thus far. I would say as far as opening, right? But as far as sillage, as far as scent profile, as far as DNA, definitely that's a thumbs up. We're good on that one. Definitely don't regret buying it. And again, when you're thinking about it too, an inspired by fragrance of a top niche fragrance for only $60, sometimes you have to understand you're getting what you pay for, right? And do you want to pay the full $400, $350 at least for a small bottle, or $400 for a big bottle for a top niche fragrance? Or do you think you can get your hands on something that is a little bit more affordable, a little bit more in budget? You may sacrifice a few things, main thing, projection, maybe a little bit more synthetic DNA, which this one doesn't have. But that's just one of the things. Those are some of the trade-offs that you get with collecting fragrances. But nonetheless, this is part of the fun in the hobby too, is that I get to experience these things and I get to kind of go through it for you guys, and then I put you guys on game about it. But nonetheless, liking the fragrance all in all. As it settled down, as I've kind of let it sit down for a little while, definitely picking up on that vanilla, picking up a little bit ambers, florals, right? A little bit more warm with some green notes. You definitely pick up on that apple as well. So nonetheless, really great scent profile, really great DNA as it settles down. Only trade-off is just the longevity. Last thing we got to do is we got to test it off the skin, and then we'll get through our final verdict, all right? 3 off the skin, let it dry it down some, and then we'll see how this one fares. Off the skin, definitely though. You're getting that ambergris, you're getting that musk, you're getting that sort of woodsy nature to it. So all in all, you just have to give it a chance. When you first open it, that first impression may not be the best of you. This is one of those fragrances you're definitely gonna have to give it a chance to really kind of go through its full maturation process. You really gotta kind of have to fully experience it to get the benefits of this fragrance. Definitely once you get to the dry down and once you let it sit after a few hours, I think this one is gonna be one when you first get it. Hopefully you guys won't be disappointed from it, but after you've had it for about a week and you sprayed it a couple times, and I've had it for another fragrance in my collection that was kind of like this. When I bought Le Male Parfum, that was kind of the same thing that this one gave me. It was like when I bought it the first time and I wore it the first time, I was like, I can't hardly smell it. But that has become one of, if not my most complimented fragrance that I've had ever in my collection. So I think this one is going to be one of those. It's going to be a sleeper for you. You're going to get it. Initially, you may not like it, or initially you may feel like, it was a waste, but give this one a chance is what I'm going to tell you guys. You guys won't be disappointed. Definitely buy number 9 for $60. Possibly great, worthy purchase. I would say pull the trigger on it, guys. If you have it in your car, if you're thinking about getting your hands on it, this one definitely is worth the purchase. This one I really like, honestly. All right, guys. So now if we think about who, when, where this fragrance going to be worn, again, we think about a nice green, floral, spicy, fresh green fragrance. So this one is definitely going to be more your fall, your spring. You can pull this off in the summer too, summer days or even summer nights. I think summer nights, honestly, this one would be better more so just because during the day it's a little bit hotter. This one, I think, when the weather and the temperature is a little bit cooler, this one is really where you're going to be making your money, really where you're going to be getting the best benefit from this fragrance. Okay, I imagine this one's definitely for a guy in his late 20s, early 30s, possibly even the 40s. This one is definitely for the guy who likes a more luxurious, sophisticated, rich, warm fragrance, right? Not something overly youthful. This one, I think, definitely pulls it off. Even a young guy who wants to get his hands on bottle number 9 Lafayette Street, but maybe not has the coins, you want to try getting your hands on this fragrance too. I think this one definitely is one that you pull the trigger on. Nonetheless, guys, how do I rate it? Definitely, it's a dub. It's a dub. You got to give it a chance. Got to let it mature. Got to let it macerate. Got to kind of give it a few days, weeks, a couple tries, a couple sprays for this one. But other than all, this one is giving the TFM stamp of approval, guys. Definitely great selection. Another great dub. Great fragrance to add to the collection. There you go, guys. First impression done and accounted for Game of Spades Wildcard. First Game of Spades fragrance that I have in the collection, but we have more coming, so stay tuned. I appreciate all you guys found this video helpful. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the follow button so you get notified anytime I drop any new fragrance content. You can also join the memberships tab, and as well as drop supers in the chat anytime you have the opportunity for it. But as always, guys, appreciate you. Have a good day. We'll catch you on the next one. Much love.